Hey all, well, you can see the car is all covered up. The garage is a wreck right now, getting ready for Halloween, and that's a whole other story. Maybe I'll talk about sometime kind of what we do around Halloween time, but definitely keeping the car covered because a lot of spray painting's been going on in the garage. So this video, I went back and pulled some stuff together that I've had a lot of little annoyances, I'll say, and finally decided to get those things taken care of. So here's a couple of different small projects. Even though they don't cost a lot of money or take a lot of time, they're not that hard, but it's amazing how better you feel after you get some of these little accomplishments checked off your list, and you just enjoy the car more when these little things aren't bugging you all the time. So hope you enjoy. More videos coming. I've already started making a few other things, and got some new Maker's Garage parts to talk through and install here soon. And then the next video you'll see after this will be about a 1,000 subscriber giveaway. So finally getting that taken care of. This is kind of your heads up though on that. If you have your settings set in YouTube where all of your who you follow is private, then I'm not going to be able to see your handle and won't be able to have you as part of the chance to win my giveaway. So that's everyone's choice of how they have their settings. But even though I have over 1,000 subscribers now, I can only see, I think, like 700 in some of them. So, and that's just because of how you have your settings. So anyway, hope everyone's having a good time. Leave a comment or a like if you got questions or comments on the video. Love to see it, and talk to you soon. Well, I finally broke down and tried to start researching some new couplers for my air intake. It is a lot harder than you might think to just find sizes in any particular size. I've tried asking around and looking for places to just make custom. The diameter is not the problem, it's the lengths I need that I can't find anywhere. I got onto BBK's website and I did find the sizes that come with my cold air intake. So if I swing you around here, these blue couplers that come with the BBK fender intake, this blue just annoys me every time I have the hood open. So I figured red of those would be a little overkill. I just wanted black. I'm pretty sure the one I don't need to cut at all, where it was supposed to be 2 3/4 instead of 3. But the one that needs to be 2-inch instead of 3-inch, I'm definitely going to have to cut that one. And then this 3.5-inch, I'm hoping I can leave it as it is too, and I don't need to cut it. So let's take a look. I'm sure I'll have to adjust those a few times. Now moving on to the next piece. Boy, it just barely fits. Trying to get them all lined up in basically the same orientation here. Well, as I kind of thought, these first 2 couplers down further, I don't need to trim those. They will go ahead and work as 3-inch long. However, I don't think there's any way I'm gonna get this guy to go that far because of this bend. It's not gonna fit right, so I'm gonna have to cut this one down. So I'm gonna use a new cutting sides so it's as sharp as I can get it. I took some painter's tape that's the width that I need and lined it on the edge with here. And so now I'm going to follow it all the way around instead of these lines on the coupler itself. I'm trying to keep the blade in one spot and just turn the coupler and follow the edge of this tape. Now don't stick your fingers in too far. You don't want them to make contact with the blade. So just take your time. If you feel a lot of resistance, you're probably trying to push in too hard and cut too much at one time. All right, I changed my cutting blade again just to make sure it's staying nice and sharp. Oh, that seemed to have helped a lot. Let's see what we got here. It's not going to be a nice, smooth cut, but it's better than I expected it to be. So I'm not rubbing on the shock tower, and I think we're good to go. Well, folks, I finally nailed down, I think, the issue I've been dealing with for a while. You can see the radio is on. So as we come around to the battery side here, I narrowed down the issue, not at my amps, not at my wiring in the car or under the carpet. I was checking grounds and checking all the connections on my amplifiers. The issue was right here. It was making both amps shut off, and this wire that's connected, you can see there's that little bit of movement on the piece that slides over the actual fuse. And that movement of over time, it backs out enough and it loses connection. And that's what's kicking everything off. I put a couple washers in there, but for some reason it just keeps backing out further. And it's not a really good fuse block. It's a cheapie, and I got what I paid for. But what I found on top of this, I noticed one day that my battery seemed to be closer or further away than I had remembered. And I went and investigated, and this hold down is loose and it's stripped out. The little metal insert in the plastic tray is stripped, and this won't tighten down. So my battery's moving around as I drive, which is putting more issue on here of this moving around too much. And I think that's a combination of a junk block and bad battery hold down. So we're gonna fix both of those. I've got a new battery tray with hardware. I had to get all that because the issue was the battery tray itself. I didn't want to try to mess with getting a longer bolt, putting a nut on the bottom of it. I'd rather have a new tray and be able to take it on and off the right way than fiddling with extra hardware that I have to put in the bottom of it. And then I have this much better fuse block where both ends of the cable will be hard fixed to the block itself with this different, mini A&L type fuse that fits in there, and not that tube style that allows the wires to basically slide off of the end of it. I really hate unhooking my battery and losing my computer and stereo, because this thing is running great right now. I haven't had any issues. And now I have to do a base idle reset and all that good stuff, and who knows what'll happen. But I'm not gonna be able to keep the battery connected while I try to get this tray out of here. Now we'll get this battery out of here. This thing costs a small fortune. And my makeshift bracket here. I'll be putting that back though. So we just got three bolts here to take out. Got one at the very bottom. Looks like it's the same size as the battery hold down, so that's good. And then we got two more. They are not going to be the same size. So the two bolts going to the fender well are 8mm, and the hold down bolt and then the bottom bolt of the tray, those were both 10mm. Out of here. And then I think in your guys' view, you won't be able to see it, but there's a second bolt like this just on the other side here. Looks like I'll have to unhook my low washer or low radiator coolant in order to get this out of here. And my bracket here's got a couple self tappers in it, so I gotta take that off. All right, there we go. Look at how corroded that bottom bolt is. It was in the bottom there. Bring you in for a closer look. That clip and bolt have just rusted up, even though there's obviously nothing wrong with the paint. Just unprotected hardware, I guess. All right, I did a quick detail, shined everything up, cleaned it all up before I put the new tray back in. Since I have this new hardware, I might as well use it. So we'll pop this clip out of here that's all rusted up. And of course I dropped it. That's why you always have one of these around. Okay, we'll replace this guy with our new one here. All right, we pop that in place. Got to change a battery. Now we'll feed our long bolt down into the new clip. We'll leave that one loose while we get these other two, get them started. Now I'm going to tighten the one on the bottom down first so that I know it has a good connection to the rail where it sits. Then I'll go in and tighten up the two on the side here. And I'll have to kind of start some new holes here for my bracket. Of course. Magnet is an old man's best friend, I'll tell you that. Gonna put some adhesive backed foam. Let's get our battery back in there. Now there is a right and a wrong way to put this on. Probably pretty simple, but this little ledge back here goes up against the battery. Now I'm gonna get this old fuse block off of here. Now there's one that fell out. And I need an Allen wrench. I have not left myself a lot of slack in this cable to mess with this kind of stuff, so hopefully we can work through it. This is why you got to pay attention to everything you buy. The fuse that came with that block says 60 amps, even though I bought the one that said 150. Luckily, I bought an extra set of 5 just to have backups. So otherwise I would have been dead in the water until I ordered more. So the design of this has it at kind of an angle. So I'm gonna have it facing where the angle lets you see the size of the fuse a little easier. And now it's just time to button it back up.